And I figured it out. The 3 things that I had that I never, without these 3, there's no chance I'd be here. Maybe not even here in life. Never mind at this position. Number 1 is self-belief. I just believe in myself to a ridiculous extent. And people who have high self-belief don't know that they do, by the way. It's only Kevin who said, dude, it's not like that for everyone else. He's like, dude, I've witnessed you get laughed out of the building and then the next day show up as if nothing happened. And I had no idea that was weird, because that's just how I've gotten here, honestly. And he's like, dude, that would have crushed me for a week, right? So self-belief is number 1. Anyone out there watching or listening, and this is very vulnerable for me to share, but I don't struggle with self-doubt very much. And I think most people know that by my tonality and that kind of thing. There's certain people in life who just don't really doubt themselves almost at all, even to a detriment. They end up very delusional. And I think most of them are not humble. And that, I would say, me in the past at times. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, and this is the really scary thing to share. You're not really allowed to say this, but I feel like we have to. I'm like really, really smart. And I always have been. Even as a kid, I remember thinking like, why are you guys all so dumb? And I realized they're not dumb. I'm really smart. Because when I was a kid, I used to think, why is everyone so lazy and why is everyone so unintelligent? No. You're really driven and really intelligent. Never realized that, right? And certainly the people in my environment didn't want me to know that. Okay, so you think these other people are a certain way, when in reality, it's because that's what's unique about you. And you're not really allowed to say any of this typically because it sounds so arrogant, right? So I also figured out why I sound so arrogant. It's because if I have level 10 self-belief and only level 8 humility, I'm going to sound level 2 arrogant. I never worked on humility as much as because I didn't know I needed it, right? So humility is super important, by the way, especially if you believe in yourself, because that's the weakness. If you believe in yourself a lot, you'll end up reckless and arrogant. So be very careful. All right, the third one is I was born in a country that invested in smart people, smart-driven people. And so I got scholarships and financial aid to go to one of the best tech schools in the world. And I'm telling you what, there's no chance I'd be where I am without that. I mean, that got me out. That got me out of what I playfully refer to as the boulevard of broken dream. And so I think it's important to understand that self-belief is where you have to start. Like if you don't have that, you do not have a chance. You just don't.
And when you mention that though, then for clients that you have, if somebody comes in and they're struggling with self-belief, what do you do? How do you approach that?
There's a formula. Now, I'm an engineer and there's 4 modalities of thinking. And for anyone out there who doesn't resonate with me, you definitely don't have math as your first one. I used to think I was a good communicator, and then I work with Kev, who's a really good communicator. And I realize now that I'm a good communicator to engineers.
Okay. Interesting.
So there's 4 modalities of thinking. One of them is mathematics, numbers, rationality, logic. And that's the rarest, I think, which is why I have basically hidden who I am for so many years. Number 2 is energy. That's also pretty rare. I think women tend to have that better than men, intuition and energy. And then the most common one is words and concepts. So most people think in conversations, words and concepts. And then the other one that's pretty common is pictures and images, vision. If you don't have numbers first, I probably trigger you, and I am finally okay with that. Whereas my whole life, I kind of hid that part of me. And that's why I playfully joked about the girl. Like, do I look fat in this? Yes, at level 6 out of 10. It's like, you can't say that. So you basically just lock up your engineer. You have tiny self-worth, but tons of self-belief. And then you get bullied because everyone thinks you're arrogant.
Right.
Anyways, to answer your original question, there's a formula for self-belief. It's state-proof self-assign. You guys probably do this unconsciously. You just don't even know it. Kevin was an all-star baseball player, my business partner. And he said, dude, I thought I got lucky. I said, what do you mean? He's like, I didn't want to be an all-star baseball player. I just played and I was just good. I said, wait a minute. You were an all-star baseball player and didn't intend on it? I was running a formula. I said, I'm going to get straight A's, and then I did it. And then I self-assigned it. So you can build self-belief. State-proof self-assign.